Hey Carla, how you doing? A lot of birds singing. Good. There's a nesting pair of loons. They've been coming here for like at least 20 years. And I see the male showed up. You know, the male and the female go separate ways in the winter. Meet back here every year. Isn't that crazy? There's just songbirds everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna do some. All the places I was traveling to, there was too much ambient noise for good recordings. Now, last night I just took the recorder and it rained, and I think I got about 5 hours of quality recording with no other noise. I'll find out because it recorded until the battery quit, and I'm not sure how long that is. It's 8 hours with new batteries, but I'm gonna get some good sounds people like so they can play it when they go to sleep without commercials. Hey, sad boys, how you doing? Listening to the birds sing. Yeah, I mean, I like they have them on YouTube, but the problem is like after so many minutes, a commercial comes on. So my idea is to make them of things that people like and just put them on an SD card and mail it to them. That way you could put it on a mini SD card, whatever, play it on your phone, whatever you felt like. No interruptions. Yep. Man, that coffee shop was busy. I see it's all new help in there too. Daisy's just hanging out back home. Daisy chased the deer today, and yeah, I like doing it. I'm gonna do birds for sure, waterfall for sure, trains, uh, things like that. Am I ever? I got a lot to do. I do. My sleep's been messed up, and you got allergies. Taking these Claritin Ds, and even though they're 12-hour, and you're better off taking them than not, there is a consequence. One is it makes you jittery. Two is you're thirsty all the time. And three is it affects your sleep. It's not like at 12 hours the switch is turned off and it's like you never had one. And it affects your appetite. You don't really feel like eating that much and stuff doesn't taste as good. But it's better than feeling tired and not wanting to leave the house, but barely. the medicinal benefits outweigh the side effects. Hey, Shaniqua. Yeah, waves are good too. I got all my mail and stuff like that. And I'm going to be home for a while. I think that's the best trip I ever took as far as getting back and like feeling like, wow, I really got to check out a lot. Not have that urge to take off all the time. Although I did feel like driving up to Sault Ste. Marie today to get some freighters with the GoPro on the Doka pole. I still may end up doing that. It's my ADHD kicking in. When you're young, people are worried about it. You don't pay attention. You're not doing well in school. When you're old, you're just a guy that doesn't get shit done, that can't sit still. It's a different definition. Today is the male common loon showed up and is out there eating, but the female has not showed up yet. And Daisy ran out the door to chase 3 deer today. And the deer, for the first time ever, did not run. I got video of it. She walked right up to them. When she saw they weren't going to run, she stopped dead in her tracks and they stared at each other. I never saw anything like that before. Young deer and older deer. They just stared at Daisy and she just stared at them. Yeah, see now, yeah. I think overall, though, if you took all the things that come along with young and all the things that come along with old, I'd rather be old. Minus some big health catastrophe. I would be screwed big time. I'll tell you what would happen to me if something happened to me where I couldn't care for myself. I know this is what would happen. I would have to sell my place and I'd have to move to Florida and I'd get a room in the bed and breakfast and I'd listen to my wife get banged by her boyfriend and wouldn't be able to do anything about it or go anywhere else. It'd be a terrible life. Yeah, I've never seen that with deer. I mean, the whole time I've lived up here, she's chased deer from day one. And they were small ones too. They just looked at Daisy. You know how the older one like picked up its foot? You know, they get nervous and they stomp their feet. I've never seen anything like that before. Weird. That's what would happen if something happened to me. So I hope nothing happens like that. You know, there's a couple up here that I really liked a lot. I've mentioned it before. And long story short, he's a retired judge. The mother was super person. I used to go over there to dinner all the time. Anyway, I knew the daughter. And we got along pretty good. And her husband didn't like it. I'm not kidding you. I would never, ever do some shit like that. Since I've been old. No way. And I don't think she would either. But anyway, the husband didn't like it. So he didn't want her going doing anything with me. And that just kind of killed things with the judge and his wife. Because they would always want me to come over for Thanksgiving and stuff. It just got weird. So that was about 6 years ago. And I just didn't see her anymore and quit going over there. They knew about it. And when I'd see them, they'd give me a big hug and tell me to stop by. And actually, the judge had a Rolls Royce, an old one. Believe it or not, they're not that much money. You can get them all day long for 15 and 20 grand. And he had it taken over to Windsor, Ontario. Well, you can't go over there. You haven't been able to go over there since COVID. So they had a place in Florida, and they'd leave every Florida and tell me to come down and stay for a week or two. I never did. I'm not really into staying at people's house that much. And I like to say I kept in touch with him, but I didn't. When I would run into him, it'd be a cordial greeting, "How you doing?" "Come over if you can," and it never happened, but it shows you how you never know life's gonna change one day, and you never know when it's coming. Mary was 84, I think, and just a picture of health. I mean, a little bit of memory problems, but, oh my god, she's 84. Just a great hostess. Everybody really liked Mary, and Ray's a good guy too. So last year, in November, they stayed a little later than they normally would. They'd usually leave after Thanksgiving. She slipped on the back porch and broke her hip, and it was all downhill from them. So, of course, COVID, hip, therapy. They never went to Florida. Went through that winter. Uh, she never really got better and developed lung cancer while she was in the hospital from smoking 45 years ago. Anyway, she died a couple weeks ago. Ray, who was using a walker, is in the Brooks, a convalescent center here. But here 2 years ago, everything was great. Going to Florida, living a good life. Both their second marriages, their spouse had died. And if you just said to them, when they left Florida 2 years ago, "You're never gonna be back here," they wouldn't have believed you. And if you told him you're gonna be in the Brook, he definitely wouldn't have believed that. And Mary died. Yeah, it's what can you say about this? It's sad, and I mean, everybody's gonna die, but it just goes to show you how stuff like that happens. Now, even though they were old, and you know it's coming, it sucks. Yeah, no, I went over to my buddy's house last night, and, he's a doctor. He's the kindest, nicest guy I've ever met in my life. He really is a good guy. If you guys ever have, like, any medical questions or anything, just ask me and I'll ask him. He's more than willing to help. If anybody ever got in a jam and you were getting dicked around and you couldn't get in where you were at, you just come up here, I'll have him see you, even if we have to go over to his house. He's a really good guy. And he tells me that, he's been a practicing physician for 40 years. We're like really good friends. And he says that life falls apart in chunks and there's nothing subtle about aging. And the example that I just gave you with Mary and Ray, that's typical. You just don't age and degrade slowly until there's nothing left. Falls are the number one deal. He tells all patients 50 and over, don't ever get on a ladder. I don't care if it's 2 feet tall. This is a guy that's just seen all these things happen over these years. Don't ever get on a roof, that kind of thing. And it starts out with a fall, then you gain weight, then your blood pressure goes up, then you get atrial fibrillation, then you get a blood clot, and then you're gone. But normally in the obituaries, you're not going to connect a fall and a blood clot. That's how it happens. Yeah, you fall apart. It's big chunks that get you. He was working yesterday. He's got 4 patients he's treating in the hospital for COVID. One guy, 3 kids, been on a ventilator 14 days. When you're not connected with someone, and some of you guys probably are, you read these things in the news and you know about it and you're sure it's true, but it's distant. It's not your neighbor most of the time. It's not a relative. But when you talk to a guy that does it for a living and he's treating people in there and describes to you what the symptoms are like and what's going on, and you've got young people on ventilators, you look at it differently. Now, I just had a buddy of mine from Florida call me and want to know which vaccine to get. And he told me to tell him to get any one you can. There are subtle differences between the two. You're not going to get a one size fits all. Yeah, turn away. Sure can. Look at Linda Ronstadt. Although that's something you weren't gonna do much about. I'll tell you, and I've talked to him about this, and there are quite a few studies on that. Here's another one, all of a sudden you hear somebody dies, they're having neurological issues, ALS, dementia, and you just chalk it off to old age. This is an absolute fact. Cocaine use at a young age. Bob Probert from the Detroit Red Wings, Kirk Gibson from the Detroit Tigers, Robin Williams, Michael J. Fox. These were all heavy cocaine users in their early days. And there's a direct link to that in what they're suffering from. Yeah, obesity, type 2 diabetes. That'll finish out there. This is the maintenance guy, works for the state. Boy, the birds are just beautiful. Yeah, it's funny you should say that about MS. We were talking about that last night. He's got a good buddy of his that's a doctor, and his wife's a doctor, and she got diagnosed with MS. And they've linked triggers to that, virus interactions. You could have a severe case of the flu, a bad cold, pneumonia. There's a bunch of things that can trigger this inflammation of the sheath around the nerves. MS is complicated to diagnose. I mean, brain lesions are a big indication, but I think there's 7 criteria before you're actually diagnosed with MS, and you never get back to where you were. No, nobody ever does. I mean, who wants to, there's that loon out there. Can you see him? This camera sucks on this phone. Straight out in front of that gray house. He's out there swimming around. Yeah, that's true, Carla, but I mean, the human mind only has the capacity to remember so many things. What you know factually is the years went by for you at the same rate they did with everybody else. You didn't get gypped out anything. Your mind can't record time like that. This is a new phone. Yeah, well, it's true. We'll catch up with you. Yeah, you hallucinate. Yep. We also talked about seizures last night and what a seizure is. There's so many different kinds of them. You can have a trauma, and 30 years later, you'll start getting seizures from that trauma. The body isn't perfect. I just got a book on anaphylactic shock, which is another interesting factor. Autoimmune disease is the body attacks itself. The body's not perfect. It does a good job, but it does some strange things there's really no explanation for. Michael, I'm sorry for any technical difficulties. You've been a pain in the ass for about a year. Please hit the refresh button. Try again later, although honestly, I don't think it's going to help. Bye, Michael, and unsubscribe too, in case you're subscribed. Please unsubscribe. I'll give you a cash bonus to just get lost and never come back. Yeah, it is Buttercup. Yep. This poor old guy's just got to shake his head every day. Signs. He works for the state. He like takes care of the place. Probably a poster about zebra mussels. Hey, Mary. He's keeping an eye on. Michael, are you there? Have you hit the refresh button? This loon is always very skittish when it comes into town. It'll get better, but not a lot better. Daisy keeps a good eye on him. You know, I always leave the windows down. I was at that restaurant at Romulus the other day, and these old ladies came up to me. I saw them asking, "Do you know who owns that van?" It's like, maybe that guy. They come over, it's like, "Do you own that van with that little dog in it?" It's like, "Yup." It's like, "Your dog, did you train her to do that?" Will we get more zebra mussels? Oh, okay.
No, they cleaned up everything, haven't they?
Yeah, big time. But you know, I was reading a couple articles on that, and the water's not supposed to be that clear in places.
Well, it's clear.
I know, but it's not all good. It affects like egg laying and predators, and it even affects fishing. They see you coming.
Yeah,
Crazy, isn't it?
yeah, them zebra mussels, they come from some other country.
Yeah, they do. Hey, that one's falling down.
Now I gotta put on the staples.
Oh, okay.
I gotta put some more staples there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that, I don't know, it helped the bay, but it's other lakes, like Peach Lake there, geez, you can see way down to the bottom.
No, I know. It's like that. Even the Huron River down below the Detroit River.
Is it?
Yeah, clear. I grew up on the Huron River. We could never see that far down the bottom.
Yeah, they cleaned up everything. I don't know.
But they cost. I know Monroe spent 400 grand on digging those out of their water purification 20 years ago.
Well, did they?
Yeah, they cause a lot of problems.
Well, them legs and them dots,
Yeah,
they're covered with them.
I know it. Crazy.
Yeah. The thing is metal. They're
Yep.
right onto it.
I see that male loon showed up. Did you see him out there?
I've seen him a couple different times.
Yeah, you haven't seen the hen, have you?
No.
No, I mean, you know, they go different places in the winter. They don't stay together.
Oh, yeah?
And they meet up. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it. They're a big bird.
The male can't put up with their...
Hell no, he's smart.
Goddamn, that's...
Probably takes off while she's sleeping.
See you later.
All right, man. No, I'll ask him though, Chrissy. I think I've read those studies. I think that 5G is a bunch of bullshit. Are you a conspiracy theorist? Why, Mary? Why? All right. Good luck. Hit that garage. Measure how deep the stuff is with a yardstick. That's measure your improvement. James, do you think it's bad or good? Are you a conspiracy theorist? Hey, Tim. Yeah, it's nice out here. Birds are singing. I still think I might go up to Sault Ste. Marie today. I really miss seeing the freighters. What time is it? 12:30. I'd be up there at 2:30. They give me 6 hours of watching. No, no, it doesn't, James. It does not. What study are you referencing? What study are you referencing for 5G? I don't want a bar talk now. I want some science here. Yeah, me too, Christy. No, you Google it. You tell me what study you're linking to cancer. Yeah, well, I want to see a study. I don't want to see an article. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's the same thing with cell towers causing cancer. Mary, what do you think of this 5G and harmful effects to humans? You think it's a bunch of bullshit? You guys need to be paying attention to COVID and not be worrying about these obscure, abstract rumors. Yeah. Yep, you're right, Gobi. Remember when they were saving the snail darter out west? Yeah, Gobi. They did do a good job in lamprey eels. No, it's not going to kill you. It's gonna help you overall. Nothing's perfect. You know, people get a pimple on their forehead and they want to slaughter the vaccine over it. Yeah, that's exactly right. You're right, Mary. That's exactly it. If you listen to 100 people that know what they're talking about and 100 that don't, the ones that don't are talking about the harmful effects of 5G. They have nothing to base it on other than a shot and a beer at closing time at a local bar. Yeah, only half of the radiation gets to us. The rest of it's blocked. UVC is all blocked. Some of B and a little of A. Conspiracy theorists. James, have you ever been treated for paranoia? Do you hear voices? No, me either, Mary. Oh, thanks, Maggie. How you doing? It's humid out though, even though the temperature is pretty low. Okay, good answer, James. There's hope for you. Are you not using a cell phone anymore because of 5G? I mean, I don't smoke because it causes cancer. I'm just wondering if you've quit using a cell phone because of it. Yeah, that's a different wavelength, though. That's a different wavelength. That's old too. That's the old Vascar, and that's a super dose. Look at the babies in adolescence down around the Fermi plant in Monroe. 14% higher incidence of different kinds of cancers. Yeah, I'm going to be home for quite a while. Go on, hon. I'm going to be home for quite a while. I mean, not counting like Traverse City and Sault Ste. Marie. No, they wouldn't worry. No, it wouldn't worry me a bit. X-ray units at an airport, not at all. Now, the one looking through bags is different, but the one in your body now wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, if it bothered me, I wouldn't use my metal detector because I wouldn't want to give worms, insects, and rodents cancer while I looked for trinkets. Mm-hmm. Gotta watch out. Mary's the voice of reason. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any lasting effect. Yeah, I think I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think anything's hanging around on your miniature-sized deodorant. You're not going to get radiation when you unzip your bag and use it. I'll tell you where you get a shit ton of radiation, a PET scan, which is why they don't do them unless they have to. PET scan. Oh, I did you? Yeah, I had a good trip. It was a lot of fun, man. A lot of good memories. I think fall I'm gonna head out like lower and west and then come back that way. I think I might head down through Oklahoma, New Mexico, up, come back through Nebraska, head up to South Dakota, North Dakota, come back down again through Duluth. And positive emissions. You off today, Mary? You want me to mail those shark's teeth or just wait till I see you? I could put them in a bag and put them in a package and mail them to you today if you want me to. No, Jane, nope. Yeah, I'm coming up for the blooms. I want to get those. This infrared's cool, but I really haven't even scratched the surface of why I got it to begin with. One of my main thoughts was like the orchards in Traverse City, the vineyards. It's going to look so great with infrared. The best photos, and they're harder to get now. In the old days, you'd drive around, you'd see fields full of junk and old cars. And wish I'd had that camera with me last fall. The best shots in infrared, my opinion, are when there's metal and a lot of green foliage growing up around it. And I just haven't had that many opportunities. Yeah, the problem if you wait to retirement is you're too old to enjoy it like you are when you're younger. Like I traveled the good spots like all over Alaska in my late 30s and early 40s. It's different than when you're older. No, Jane, no. You don't have to. No. Yeah, no, yeah, they use a lot of it. They do. That's cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's how they infrared used a lot in weather forecasting. Birds and insects can see infrared light and UV light. Oh yeah, I've been trying to do that freight train video for 2 months. There's not many trains going around unless you're down around there. Oh, okay, gotcha. You eating a veggie lunch today, Mary? No, I know Canada's way more strict on it. Yeah. These people up that own the Tim Hortons here where I live, they've only been able to see their grandchild once in over a year. And it was such a pain in the ass that they're not going to do it again until the travel restrictions are lifted. This kid will be in kindergarten by the time they get to see him. Canada doesn't screw around like the United States does with stuff, especially crime. Hey, my young. No, no, I'm not going to go there till fall. You know, Canada, you can't get over there with a misdemeanor. Now, that's not saying that it doesn't show up and people get in, but there's all sorts of people that hunt and fish in Canada from the United States. And they get a drunk driving ticket, even an expired license plate. That's a criminal charge, a dog without a leash. Canada says, no, you're not getting in here. You've got a criminal record. Yeah, they do, Chrissy. Yep. No, Belle Isle's great. Yeah. There's not a better place in the world to take an evening sunset than Sunset Point. Sit on that bench right in the end of the point there. I had a photo of two kids that drowned there back in the 40s. They fell off the end of Sunset Point and it showed them treading water. And they didn't get to them in time before they drowned. It was a UPI photograph, a journalist. You know, before the state took that over, I would stay out there 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And coyotes would swim across from Canada to Belle Isle, both ways. Deer, too. They've got a white coyote over there. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Belle Isle's got a rich history. You know how that one company that makes those small books, you find them in Barnes and Noble, they make them of towns and places and famous businesses and stuff. There's one on Belle Isle. It's really interesting. Yeah, Daisy eats people food. I'll tell you a good magazine. You can get it for $5 for a year, and you get a free external, little mini external hard drive. Wired. First year, it's only $5. Excellent magazine. Yeah, there is. Yep. Hey, Simka. Yeah, I see that loon out there. Yeah. Sign up for it. You get it for $5 for the first year. I keep getting it for $5. You know what I do? I use a different name. They don't cross-reference them by phone number and address. So every year I use a different name on the same address and phone number. I get it for $5. Oh, no kidding, Mary. I see bald eagles flying around here once in a while. You know, building a new house is crazy expensive now. Before you do that, go out and check the prices of building materials. You're not going to believe it. Everything, roofing, 2x4s, you name it. It's crazy expensive. And there's tons of stuff that you can't get. Go try and order a new washer and dryer. all sorts of weird, like electrical boxes. It's a pain in the ass building right now. Yeah, up like 4 times. Yep. I got friends that are building a house, and the guy is one of these guys that just is just super positive no matter what. And I don't think they realize how what a problem they're into. They sold a house for 200 grand more than they paid, and I think they were gonna build this dream home, and they're about halfway through, and I think they're getting close to out of money. And you can't get a loan on an unfinished home. Now I'd be panicking by now, but he just always got this sunny side up attitude that it's a virtue when you realize what the future holds and you're honest about it to yourself. I doubt it because it's an import. I don't like bamboo anyway. It's ugly. But the cost of building a home now is crazy expensive. And you go in these places, they're out of most stuff. Yeah, it's the wrong time to build. It really is. Definitely for sure. Yeah, I probably did. Yep. If you go into Home Depot, most of that lumber's from China. Yeah, picked over and empty. You're right. Yep. They've always had shitty lumber, though. You want to get better lumber, go to a Menards superstore. Really get a great choice of lumber. It's way better. Oh, God, Chrissy. I can't believe this housing market. I can't figure it out. It's a mystery to me. Crazy prices everywhere. Oh, really? With lumber or tile? I'll tell you another thing, too. Like these people I know that are building a home, inspections. It's not like the old days. You call on Wednesday and they're showing up on Thursday. They take forever to do the inspection. So you'll be done with something and it's 2 weeks before they get there. Oh, tile. Okay. Yeah, I wish just for the hell of it, they'd tell you what's in those big containers. Those big giant ships that come over with like a million semi truck trailer sized containers strapped to the top. I just love to know, just for being nosy, what the hell's in there. Yeah, I know when I was out in Montana last fall, people were telling me that just people were buying places without ever seeing them from California, just getting the hell out of there. Florida property is crazy now. That property I own down there is through the roof. Just, you'd have to be out of your damn mind to pay that for that place. Oh, is it, Mary? Yeah, I believe that. Yep. But it's a nice day today. I remember doing film photography from right over there where that red fence is, like in the 70s, early 70s. You know, I've been looking, once in a while I'll look at like a van that I could like stay in, but you know, honestly, I don't think I'd like it. I just like going into a hotel room. And the good ones, the taller ones, you can't get into places. You know, I don't want to be fooling around with all that gas and dumping and bullshit. Yeah, there were way more freighters 100 years ago than there are now. You know, you should. Are you going to take the Badger, Mary, when you do that trip? That's a good experience. That's not going to be around forever. And that's a fun experience. Just make sure you sit on the opposite side of that coal exhaust. But that's a fun experience. I know a little about rocks. Yeah. I know I'm sending Penny a big box full. Yeah, that's what I like, Tim. Yeah. I don't stay in too many ma pa because they've had too many bad experiences with pets. So they always want to rip you off for having Daisy. They don't know Daisy's not going to ruin the place like the other 5 people that stayed there with a dog before me did. So it's a pain in the ass. You could make that trip in one day, Mary, if you didn't screw around. Unless you're going to try and enjoy yourself. Are you definitely doing that trip, moving that junk back from Michigan out there? No, the cost is not bad. The cost is not bad. It's reasonable. It saves you so much time. It's not that bad. There's a part of the reason they were able to keep that thing going was to transport those wind generators. Goodbye, Mary. But that's a fun boat ride, I'll tell you that. I've got the room before. You can get a room. They got like screen windows. You're just laying there like on this bed with like the water not that far from your face. Just out in the middle of Lake Michigan. It's great. No other boats out there. It's another $50 or something. I didn't do it last time, but I've done it before. It's worth it. I wanted to be outside getting video, but if you just want to relax, read a book, if you just started dating someone new, you want to give them a good drilling, it's worth every penny. Have a good day, Mary. Hey, Philip. Yeah, you got to check the times. They used to have a night thing. I'm not. I think they have less sailings than they used to. Good, Robbie. How you doing? But you'll save money. I don't know if it'll be break even, but you'll save so much time. That UP drive across sucks. It's not like it's beautiful area. Chicago's not bad, really, if you go through in the right time. I told you, if you went down low, you don't need to go through Chicago. You can be south of the city and head straight west. You can avoid the city and then cut northwest later. Just look at a map. You don't want to get a good drilling? Well, have a good day, my young. Yeah. You talk about getting your money's worth as a young person. Don't villainize it. Remember, that's how we all got here. Hard to believe, but true. Hey, Emily. Oh, yeah, I know, Chrissy. Yeah, plastic's a big problem. No, the UP sucks. But I told you before, if you look on a map, you can avoid going through Chicago. You'll be south of it. It's not bad if you do it right. And it's not out of the way. Just get on it and go on Google Maps and look at it. You don't need to go through Chicago. You'll be way south of it. You don't head northwest till later. I think I said Omaha or something, wherever I said. There's a way around it. Good, Emily. How you doing? Well, they had to put this retrofit system where the ash is stored rather than dumping it out into Lake Michigan, which was super expensive. There were a lot of political connections with keeping that badger afloat. It still dumps out a shit ton of ash. I don't care what they say. They've got these deflectors that run down the sides. Better than it used to be, but there's a ton of black soot coming out of that thing the whole way across, which is essentially mercury. Oh, you feeling down? Oh, sorry about that, Emily. Try some St. John's wort or a gummy. I tried those gummies. I thought it was worth a try, but they're just not for me. I saw sitting on my sink, I've got 2 packs that expired. I just really wasn't into them. Yeah, it's peaceful here, Jay. I sent you an email. Yeah, the Badger's cool. It's really a neat ship. Reminds me of the old days. It's big too. You get on something like there's semi trucks on that thing. You just look at the difference between mankind and other forms of animals. Build this big giant thing made out of stuff from the earth, watching TV, eating dinner, putting a semi truck on it, sleeping on a bed out in the middle of nowhere. It's crazy. I forgot. I want to say it's 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours, something like that. It's quite a long trip. I think it's 78 miles or something like that. Yeah, I think it's about 5 hours. It's not that expensive either. Yeah, I know that sucks, Jay, but you get a natural reaction to respond that way, which everybody does, but it's not your fault. Nothing you can do about it. That sucks. Sea glass? I never have, Yeah, this COVID sucks. So, where do you live down there? Do you live in Detroit, James? Do you ever get up north up here and visit? It is beautiful up here. You know, all those places I traveled in the last couple months, and even though I wasn't really looking forward to coming home, I'm glad that I'm home. It's like, this is a good deal up here. All these birds and all this stuff running around. Well, you don't need that good of a camera. You need a good camera you're going to print. But you can get by pretty reasonably with a camera for YouTube. Hear those geese? Are you talking about a camcorder, or a still photographs? Nah, I don't think we could have avoided it. Nobody knew it was going to be this way. That's why. I mean, everybody was caught with their pants down. This is unique. You want to blame somebody, blame China. It's like anything that happens for the first time, it'll be handled differently next. Wasn't for the CDC, this planet would have been wiped out by now. They're not perfect, but Philip, you got any place you can go there migrating birds? Do you have like many sanctuaries, songbirds flying around? No, they didn't. They didn't. I mean, we wouldn't need the CDC if there wasn't so many stupid people around. I mean, the government has to legislate your health because too many people won't do it unless they put a mandate or a lockdown or a mask requirement or a shutdown. I'm not saying that it's absolute, but if you look in areas across the country, look at income related to COVID numbers and where you get more money with more educated people that are smart and informed and read about the disease. The numbers are much less than where you don't. So there's a connection between IQ and COVID, and it's really easy to ascertain. Look at where COVID's running rampant now. Numbers are crazy. It makes sense. Do you see the numbers going crazy in Palm Springs, Palm Beach, Florida, Brentwood, California? No. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, India's got a huge problem. These young kids out here, no adult watching them. A lot of people in Florida. I mean, South Beach was actually. Florida's a weird state. Were you ever lucky enough to watch that show on TV? And you'd have to guess whether it was fake or whether it was Florida. And unless you'd lived in Florida, that wouldn't make sense to you. But if you've lived there, it makes perfect sense. What a great name for a show. Fake or Florida. There's so much crazy shit going down there 24/7. You can't you're thinking it might be fake or geez, it could be Florida. Yeah, it's crazy. That state sucks to live in. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. I don't even like visiting it, to be honest with you. I've had a bunch of chances to go down there and just skipped it. The minute I get into that sweet smelling air and that high humidity and that bumper to bumper traffic and those faded pink and green concrete buildings selling orange juice by the gallon, I don't want to go any further. Every damn at rest stop you get at closed, motels, hotels, gas stations out of business, crimes through the roof, cockroaches ruining everything. Forget that place. Florida to me is like purgatory, but it never ends. Oh, I believe it. Believe me, Simka, I feel for you. Yeah, you do, man. It's just, I mean, the crime is crazy. When I bought that property down there, I was breeding parrots and dromedary camels, the single hump. And where I lived I bought 20 acres, was out in the woods. I'm not kidding you. It was like old Florida. There was two alligators in my pond when I bought it. You know, it was out in the middle of nowhere. It was like out in the woods, only Florida. Well, it's not like that now. It looks like an upper end, uh, affluent neighborhood near all expensive places. You couldn't pay me to live down there. Oh, big time bad juju, huge, big time. No, it sucks. I like going down there. I mean, I like the wildlife, but like nothing is worth it to me. I tell people if you were a billionaire and you didn't need to be out in it and you had a place on Palm Beach and you had security and a chauffeur, it'd probably be great. You'd go sit by the ocean and drink your coffee and go back into your air-conditioned house and read your books and watch your documentaries. But if you've got to live in like a regular neighborhood and battle that traffic and that dope and crime and bugs. I mean, the hurricanes aren't that big of a deal. I lived through a couple of them when I was down there. It's more of a pain in the ass. If you had to give me a choice, do you want to experience a hurricane or a tornado? I would definitely want to experience a hurricane. It's a pain in the ass. All your shit gets wet. It rains for 2 weeks. There's drains backing up everywhere. You can't buy a loaf of bread. You're blowing people for a gallon of gas. Everything's just chaotic for like 2 or 3 months after the damn thing. But a tornado, boy, that'll take your ass out. I've been lucky on those. I've either gotten there too early or I've left. But I've just missed about 5 of them in my life. South Dakota, believe it or not, one of them. The other ones were in Illinois, one in Florida, and 2 in Tennessee. Yeah, Simca, I'm with you. I get it 100%. At least you were there for them. No, I mean, the good news is your house is probably appreciated. And luckily for you, the space program has been fired up because there was a while down. I almost bought a place in India Atlantic just because they were so cheap. I mean, the prices went down, but it was never cheap to live on the ocean. And I had already figured out by talking to people that it sounds great. You got a place right on the ocean, but it's not worth the money. The upkeep is crazy. So I was going to buy one of those houses on the other side of the street in one of those subdivisions. But you're in a perfect time to sell that place and really cash in. I don't think it's going to go on forever. I mean, there were 2 times since I've owned this Florida place I couldn't give the goddamn place away, and now it's worth like crazy money. So it just goes to show you, that what you want to avoid is being in an age where you can't weather the storm. You don't want to be 65 in the market tank because you can't wait to 75 to want to leave. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking of getting out of there, now's the time. Do what I did. Leave your husband there. Oh, really, Mary? Yeah, island helps. Definitely helps. Although I'll tell you, you see more and more data coming out on this water level rising in Florida. I remember going to a seminar, kind of a seminar lecture that the county put on back in 1994. And you just thought this guy was like a clown in a comedy act, the shit he was talking about with the rising of the oceans and Florida being underwater someday. But I checked and went and looked back from 94 till now, and the mean sea level has increased 7 inches. Now, where I live, west of West Palm Beach, not that big a deal. But where you live, look at what's that place in that Arabic place? Beautiful Maldives. Look at Maldives. I mean, this is a global issue. Maldives, gorgeous place. I'd love to go there and just with my new honeymoon with my mail order bride and just eat gummies for a month. That just looks like paradise to me. I know it's man-made, but God, when you see that seaplane bring you into that, your bedroom's right level with the water and it's always calm and all these cool fish swimming around. I want to just go there and have an orgy for a month. No, you got to get out of there. Yeah, China's got us by the balls for sure. That's just the way it turned out. And you got a population in low labor like that, it could have been anywhere. It just happened to be China. If Italy was bigger, it could have been Italy. It's just the way the cards fell. I mean, it sucks to live there as just a middle class, but as a global leader, they got us by the balls. Thank you, Jackie. No, I mean, there's good data out there on mobile homes and hurricanes and tornadoes. Nah. I think there was a time in my life. I think that's why I've drugged my feet on COVID shot. These kids swimming out here. That's why I've drugged my feet on these COVID because I don't want to live forever. This sounds crazy, but when you see people die at like a premature age, whatever that is, right? If you looked at the mean average of death, let's say you died at 65 like me. Just think all the shit I'm going to skip. Old folks home, more plagues, crazy news, rioting, defunded police departments, dope being legalized everywhere, crime through the roof. Just think of all the shit you skip. This isn't like Happy Days anymore. It's not like the world's such a great place. I don't know how anybody in this day and age, other than pure selfishness or being naive, would want to have children. how can you like do your due diligence and want to bring offspring into this clusterfuck? Yeah, I hate to say it, man. And look, it's ignorant statement, I know, but it's like anything else. Whether you're dating, whether you decide to take a job someplace, a neighborhood you buy in, a group you decide to join, you're presented with so much information, and you can't possibly look at everything. So, like, I've ended up going places that I loved because of a brief little 10-minute segment on the Weather Channel. It started my Alaska travel, Dutch Harbor. And when I saw it, I thought, wow, 747 landing on that short runway? I want to experience that. The Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, another Weather Channel deal. When I saw those currents, strongest currents in the world, wanted to go there. So you're constantly presented with stuff, and either it interests you or it doesn't. And South Carolina and North Carolina, they just don't interest me. That whole East Coast, from Cocoa Beach, Savannah, South Carolina, all the way up to Arcadia National Park in Maine, it doesn't interest me. I heard this one little kid tell the other kid, quit being a pussy. uh, it just doesn't interest me. I've been there. It's congestion. It's now, and you're going to think, well, you dumbass, you've never been to where I live in North Carolina, and that is certainly a possibility. There are places everywhere. I'll give you a perfect example. If you'd asked me prior to my last trip in Louisville, would you go to Louisville? I'd say, no, that place sucks. A lot of crime. Don't go there. Well, now I don't say that anymore. That's in my top 5 favorite places. Why? Because I got exposed to a place, part of Louisville that I hadn't seen before. It hadn't come across my plate. I hadn't seen it on TV. I hadn't read about it. And I'm sure the East Coast is like that too, but you can only go with what you know, not what you don't know. And just the Bible Belt bullshit, the dry county, the right to life horse shit, just the ideology of those states doesn't interest me. It just doesn't. If they had some bird with a 12-inch pecker that only lived in North Carolina, I'd maybe go out there to get some photos of it. But other than that, from what I know, which is not much, it's an ignorant statement, I just as soon skip that whole East Coast. Oh, Russian? Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, Louisville. Well, I was telling people that, prior to my last Louisville trip, you can just go with what you know. It's like meeting somebody in a dating site, and, you loved everything about their profile. You had good chemistry when you were getting to know them. The protocol was met. There was nothing weird. Then you found out that they beat a murder charge 30 years ago. And, you don't know what you're getting into on things, and you just hope for the best because minus a crystal ball, everything in life is like that. And the same with the West Coast. You can keep Washington, you can have California. Uh, Texas doesn't interest me. I don't hate New Orleans. You couldn't pay me $1,000 a year. I just don't like the beads, the partying, the drinking, the floods, the bugs, the crime, the pastel buildings faded out, the humidity. I drive around that place. Yeah, the mail order brides. Yeah, I think the Midwest is a good deal. I realize what a good deal I get up here. I agree with you, the Midwest. My buddy tells me that the best kept thing you can have in life now is privacy. Nobody knowing who you are. Yeah, those Russians, uh, you know, that's a little different than an Asian mail order bride in general. I mean, it's fun to joke about, but I think you got to have a screw loose to get a mail order bride. I mean, who wouldn't like to be chasing around a 20-year-old in her negligee Monday through Sunday? But it's not reality. Something's really off with an adult that would consider that for real. Denny McLean, he when he got out of prison, he played organ, and I went to see him in a place around Dearborn, and we talked about that. And he said that once the sex is over, those are some long days. And I never forgot that. And isn't that the truth? Yeah, well, we don't have that kind of heat usually. Talking about mail order brides. Yeah. Yeah, totally true, Simca. I mean, it's fun to joke about, but any guy that if I don't think I don't know of anybody that I'm friends with that would seriously consider that. I think, and if somebody said, "Hey, at my age, and I'm thinking about getting a mail order bride," I would think weirdo right off the bat. Now, I'm not saying happiness is grabbing two big handfuls of cellulite in front of a burning fire on your 40th wedding anniversary, but you know what I'm saying. You too, drowsy doll. Yeah, I believe that, Simca. I believe that. Anybody that I know that was young enough to move back, that moved to one of these tropical places, whether it was Mexico, Costa Rica, Cancun, any of those places, they move back home after it gets old. I know an old guy that got one down in Indiana, owned a little private airport, didn't have any money. He was like 80, she was like 25. And there's a couple guys up here in West Branch that have young mail order brides. I mean, this sounds terrible, but I mean, this is what I observed, and that is they really weren't that great looking. I mean, yeah, they were 25, and I guess you can't complain when you're 80. But it wasn't like, when I think mail order bride, I think of like Miss Taiwan. And none of these people were like this. See you, drowsy doll. See you, Mary. Start a harem, yeah. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like the thought of it. It's the reality of it that I struggle with. Yeah. Do you date? Do you date, Terry? Yeah, women don't think like that. I've mentioned this before. I knew quite a few guys that modeled. I had that buddy that won Fear Factor when it first started. And that's kind of a myth. I'm not saying that it never happens, but women don't think like men. And like, there's a hell of a lot less 60-year-old women wanting to sleep with 18-year-old guys as opposed to 60-year-old men wanting to sleep with 18-year-old women. Why? I don't know. But that's just the way it is. Yeah, I think the citizenship stuff is much longer. Immigration caught on to that. I think it's a long time now. I mean, some of these model guys, they were young, good-looking guys, and they thought they were going to have all these older women supporting them. Didn't never happen. I'm not saying there's not an older woman that doesn't get a good dick in here and there, but it's not the norm. Oh, really, Terry? Oh, thank you. Yeah, Sugar's mamas. I mean, outside of these guys that tried to do it, I couldn't even give you any examples of it happening. I couldn't give you one example of an older woman wanting a young guy. It's a different thought process. This is Lake George. It's just south of the city of West Branch. It's a beautiful lake. I wonder why these kids aren't in school. Yeah, I think that cougar stuff's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, you know what I mean, Cheryl? Yeah, you don't. Yeah, but right, just in the Reader's Digest, Cheryl, I think you would speak for the majority of women. Why wouldn't you want a younger guy? No, I never do. I never really like swimming that much. I take Daisy swimming here all summer long. I put her in at the end of the dock. I did swim here a lot when I was younger. Water ski, all that stuff. It's a great swimming lake. These are all, up in northern Michigan here, as opposed to Detroit, this is all sand, which is why you have such clear water. Uh, but I'm just not really into swimming. I don't like it that much. That's another thing about the East Coast. Even like where you're at. I don't really know. From Cocoa Beach north, the Atlantic Ocean's just not that attractive. It looks like sewer water, kind of a gray, murky, crappy, muddy looking water. It's not pretty. Looks like sewage discharge. Yeah, lots of edible fish here. Yep, trout, bluegill, crappie, bass. Yeah. Oh, listen to Cheryl. You go, girl. I think what gets a lot of older people into relationships is they're lonely. And if you took away their libido and you discounted that, they'd still want a relationship, which just points to loneliness. That's right, Connie. Oh, big time. Taos. Yeah, they do. They sure do. Yeah, huge. Taos damn near got wiped out. Yeah, big time erosion. The parks, I bet the park, I'm not kidding you, I bet they lost a third of their landmass to erosion. Everywhere, Michigan. Mackinac Island, same thing, especially the northwest corner. They couldn't afford to fix it. The south part of the Upper Peninsula, west of the Mackinac Bridge, they're going to reroute the highway because it's all gone. There's a certain point to where when the land's washed away, you're just not filling it in any longer. It's too much is gone. Yeah, you're probably right, Happy, huh? Yep. think I'm going to get a Culver's cheeseburger today. You know, I'll tell you, I think it's the best cheeseburger I ever had in my life. Culver's. They're good. See you, James. Come on up north, man. I'll take you up to Sault Ste. Marie, show you some freighters. Go check out Sunset Point. Get your camera ready. You know, they film a lot of car commercials there on Sunset Point. Seasonal. Simca, get that for sale sign up. Get rid of that place. You may sell that for more than what you listed for. Get the hell out of there. The problem is housing is high now. You know, when you're selling high, it's not like you're getting some deal someplace usually. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Believe me. Even though I think it's a waste of time, I'll pray for you. Just go eat one last slice of Bizarro's pizza. Oh, good. Yeah, I bet you'll do well in that. And you should be so lucky that space program, because that brings back paying working people that need a home rather than counting on a retiree to want to live in that part of Florida. Yeah, you want to get some excellent pizza. Go to India Atlantic. Bizarro's Pizza right on the beach. Oh yeah, you're going to be raking in the money on that. Good for you. Philip, you eating some Bavarian sausage? The big frothy beer and a piece of cheese with an elf hat on. Yeah, excellent. They get rid of this graffiti one guy. I just tried to do it, but it wouldn't work on my phone. Can this dumbass? Kick him out of here for good if you can. Oh, that's cool, Simka. Yeah, it's nice here. Good job, Philip. Good job. Graffiti one, sorry for any technical difficulties. Please hit the refresh button. Although, you know what? I don't think it's going to help. It's a good feeling, and you've been empowered, Philip. Technical difficulties. Jackie, how you doing on that cryptocurrency? Oh, that's cool, Simka. Yeah, call the service number. Yeah, no, it's nice up here. It's like this all the time. This is there are people that own like vacation homes here, but this isn't like the destination in general. Yeah, there are summer places here, but this is more of a stop on the way to places. This is exit 212 off I-75. Yeah, this would be a good time lapse video today. Yeah, I think they're good. I think they're good. In-N-Out burgers, yep. I have. I mean, you'd be fat as hell if you ate there all the time. I don't really want to get that big of a cheeseburger. I want just a normal sized cheeseburger that's not going to be all over the car. So, that's one thing I don't like about In-N-Out and Five Guys. They're just too big. Now, I don't know about In-N-Out, but I do know Five Guys. That's 75-25. That's why they're so good. There's so much fat in them. You look at the caloric content on a Five Guys, and that's crazy fat. I don't even think you can buy 75-25 in the store. Nobody would buy it. Just too fatty. But they order it at Five Guys. I think their fries are good. I don't get fries that much. I stop there maybe once a year, twice maybe. Oh, they do, Simca. Huh. Yeah, owning your own home, it's good, but it's not that big a deal. Yeah, right. It's a blood pressure issue. You're right, Bobby Joe. Checkers sucks. Most of them that I know of have went out of business up here. Culver's is it's a thin patty, like crispy on the edges. Everything's chilled and fresh, like the uh, tomato, onions, always like crispy, a good bun. It's always cooked to order. It's not sitting around in a bin. They're excellent hamburgers. Really good. You'd just love the hell out of eating one. Now, people do bitch that they like the cheese melted more on it. I don't care about it, whether it's melted or not. I don't even order cheeseburgers any place but there, but they're so damn ridiculously good. Their fish sucks. Their fries are too greasy, but their cheeseburgers, I think, are the best. Yeah, there's a Long John Silver's over in Tawas. Remember Arthur Treacher's? Yeah, I don't know Butterburger. I don't know if they're cooked in butter or they just put a dab on it. Ruth Chris does that too with prime age steaks. They're good as hell though, I'll tell you that. Hey Angie. Hey Dallas, how you doing? Feel honored. Your prayers were answered that it popped up. Has meaning for you. I used to like McDonald's cheeseburgers, but they do them different now. The only good one they had, I think, was the double cheeseburger because it was like a steamed bun and the cheese was melted, but they do them different now. I think McDonald's has really went downhill. I tried that crispy chicken thing one day down in Dundee, Michigan. It was shit. Yeah, I know it, graphics. Yep. That's where I had my In-N-Out. There's a girl that moved from Boston that's in Las Vegas now, too. She's working out there at one of those casinos. So I'm definitely going to come out there in the fall. Party all night. I'm going to take you out to the Chicken Ranch graphics for being a long-standing contributor to the chats. Yeah, they're terrible, Angie. Yeah, no, they're shitty. They're crappy. You know, I remember eating McDonald's. You knew it was bad for you. It was fattening, but it was so damn good. Their fries and their cheeseburgers, and you get a pop. There's nothing like a good carbonated drink with a meal that's terrible for you. But now, man, that stuff's just not that good. I will say the fish sandwich is not bad. Like the other night, I was gonna buy the clerk at the hotel a nice dinner from that place in Romulus, and they were closed. And every place is, if you don't get something to eat by 8 or 9 now, you're screwed. It's fast food. It's it. And the line's going to be long. So I wanted to get Daisy a hamburger, so I got her a plain hamburger, and in a jam, the fish sandwich isn't bad at McDonald's. I don't quite get the cheese on them, but it's okay. Do you really? Yeah, I don't really like their fries. I think In-N-Out's got good fries. I think if I get really want fries, uh, I'll get them at Wendy's. There's a place called the Indigo in Traverse City. It's just like a lot of places, overpriced everything. But they have fries. I think they're 10 or 11 bucks. You get this big giant order. I don't know what in the hell they do to those fries, but they are so ridiculously good. You want to like eat the bowl they come in. Oh, Supermax. Okay. Oh, really, Angie? Huh. Yeah, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and look at a video, Bobby Joe. It's easier in your air fryer. No, they were good in the 70s. Excellent. No, excellent. They deep fried them. Now they bake them. They're shitty. Yeah, me too, Happy D's. I mean, seasoning's everything if it's done right. That's where the Chinese have it with this Szechuan style of cooking. They got these sauces down. You go to a really good place, they got this marinade down. Not too much. You just can't like soak stuff in a marinade forever. There's a time limit. And when a place has it down, if you get really good ribs, they're boiled, stripped of the fat on the back, seasoned, smoked, then char grilled, which is why it's $40 for a full slab. It's a lot of preparation. And it's like 16 hours of cooking at the right temperature with applewood. It's just not flinging some slab of meat on the grill and charging a lot for it. That's no problem, Happy. There's a place down from the hotel I stay in when I'm in Dearborn, Miller's Bar. It's been like famous for 40 years. Well, you know, hamburgers have come a long way. You got In-N-Out, you got Culver's, you got a million other places selling hamburgers. And I went and had a Miller's about a month ago, and I thought, man, this thing is not that great. Overpriced, no seasoning. Yeah, I mean, I see they close at 9:30 now, which makes sense. That's because there's about 50 other places within driving distance that have a way better hamburger. Back in the day, theirs was fresh meat when everybody else was doing frozen. I'll tell you a funny thing. You know, my sister owned McDonald's. I know the current owners are the ones she used to own. And McDonald's came out with taste testing for the quarter pounder. Now, everybody thinks they want fresh, but when they did blind taste testing with focus groups, believe it or not, the frozen meat got better ratings than the fresh. Wendy's doesn't use frozen hamburger, and I don't think their hamburgers are that great. I mean, for fresh meat, they should taste a hell of a lot better. Yeah, I try and give people a good plug if they have good food. What I don't do, though, is I don't give any negative ratings because, first of all, I'm not a food critic and it's biased, subjective, and I don't want to hurt any business just because my dumbass didn't like it. You know, if you go out to a upper end restaurant in out west, you pay extra for MSG. It's an add-on. It's like $3 or $4 extra for extra MSG. I think MSG is villainized. You wouldn't eat at most of the places that you eat at if they took all the MSG out. It's a food enhancer. It's not going to give you lung cancer. Those are the good old days. Yeah, MSG. I don't. It's extra at a high end restaurant. I mean, some people do have allergy to it, so obviously you wouldn't want to take it. See, the wind's cropping up a little bit. See, now I was telling you guys about quality auto recordings and wind. Now you see how this wind's just cropped up a little bit, and you probably can't hear it, but I'm telling you, if I tried to do a high resolution audio recording, it'd sound like a hurricane in the background. Maybe not on the other side where it's still smooth, but wind is noisy. There's a lot of friction. Yeah, that's true now. It's pan-fried brown trout. Yeah. Yeah, probably true, Happy. Yeah, right, Philip. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, sounds like a wise tale. This is a nice cloud cover today. All right, Bobby Joe, I think I'm going to sign off here. I think I'm going to do maybe a short video on my Doka pole. And then I'm going to hit the road, go get a cheeseburger, and start doing stuff at home. You guys have a great day today. It was a good chat. It's fun to get on here just spontaneously and a bunch of people show up. Hey, Simca, go on Zillow. You know, you got to take that with a grain of salt, but it is a pretty good indicator of different prices and what places are going for. You know, did you know this? I sold my buildings here about a year ago on Zillow, completely free. You can list as a for sale by owner. I don't know if you know that or not. You can take good phone pictures with your cell phone. Now, what will happen? You're not going to save the whole 7%. Because if a realtor brings a customer, they're going to want their 3.5%, the other half of the commission. But 3.5% is 3.5%. It's a lot. So you might want to consider that. Now, the downside of that is, you know, you don't want to meet a serial killer for a home tour. So it's something to consider. But you can save a lot of money listing it yourself. I did it. Have a good day, Connie. See you, Ray. Yeah, it's really user-friendly, easy. The photos from a cell phone look just like a professional real estate person, and you can put a lot of them. And just take your husband when you go over there. You know, you're calling the shots. Just say showings on Saturdays only. Stuff like that. See you, Waits. See you, Mindy. See you, Philip. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, somebody told me about it. Because when you go on Zillow, it doesn't look like that. It looks like you see all these legit real estate listings and all these $1 million homes, and you're thinking, why? I can't believe they'll let you. It's a million times better than for sale by owner, some cheesy site like that, and it's 100% free. See you, Tim. Yeah, see, well, you watch those murder shows, and they're always knocking off a real estate woman here and there on some bullshit house showing. So, in this day and age, be careful. See you, graphics. Thank you, Frisky. Yeah, no, check it out. Yep, super easy. Bye, Mindy. See you, Ray. Guys, have a good day today.